Welcome to Cougar Football with Kevin Donnelly. The road to Quincy, Illinois didn't exactly start off as planned when one of the buses full of football players broke down just 5 minutes into the trip. But once again, the Cougars were able to overcome adversity in the 34-7 win over the Hawks.
Well, the fun stuff is Saturday if you get a win. But, a real job I think that we have as coaches is trying to teach young men to overcome adverse circumstances so that they can be the best they can be. It was one of those days, thank God it happened on Illinois Road and it didn't happen 3 hours down the road. We might not have ever gotten there. But we overcame that, and the long trip, the conditions, kids didn't say much about it, so we handled that pretty well. Came out a little slow, maybe because of the fatigue of the trip and so forth, but got on track, and seems like everybody gets healthy for us. The quarterback, which was a Division I transfer from Southern Illinois, hadn't played in a month, and he got back, and he was a real threat, challenged our defense, kept us on the field a little longer defensively than we really had hoped for. Had a little fewer opportunities than what we had expected on the offensive side. We did well throwing the football. We protected our quarterback well. Had a few miscues on handoffs and so forth. Put the ball on the ground a couple times early, but I think only lost one of them. So anyway, made some big plays. I think we were 26 of 35 or something for 319 yards, I believe. So it was a good day. Good win against a team that's probably a lot more talented than their record shows.
An interesting day, to say the least, but talent was definitely displayed on the field in Quincy. None more impressive than the connection between quarterback Justin Boser and receiver Austin Coleman that resulted in a 50-yard touchdown reception.
Well, first of all, that field was marked for high school and college. And half the day, we had the ball put on a high school hash mark. So, we're a landmark-oriented vertical passing game. So they've got hash marks to work toward. They know where the ball is supposed to be thrown. It was a great throw. Got on the wrong hash mark and had to adjust as the ball was in the air and ended up catching the ball over his head. And, it was a heck of a catch, heck of an adjustment. And, when you got someone with AC's athleticism and speed and playmaking ability, he certainly came up with one of the greatest catches I've seen.
The playmaking ability of Antoine Campbell has been evident this year, but the redshirt freshman had to leave the game in the fourth quarter with an ankle injury, adding to the list of injured running backs.
Well, Antoine's a great young man, first of all, just a class kid. You can always count on him giving his best shot. He's got great vision. He's a great zone runner. We run inside and outside zone at 3 different points. And he's good at all of those. Made a great cut on that play, had great blocking. The hold was real questionable. You can call hold on about every play. And broke another long run. It was unfortunate because that was a big one. It would have been nice for him to have that one, but it was called back. But he's a great football player. Sprained his ankle in the fourth quarter and is going to be out this week. Now, on the other side of that, we do have Frank Wolf coming back. We have Kyle Matheson coming back. But they haven't played in a month. So, we're trying to get them back into the thick of it, and hopefully Antoine will get back real soon.
Second-year starting cornerback Alan Richardson pronounced his presence as returning back to the form that landed him as an All-MSFA honorable mention Mid-East selection last year when he recorded 3 tackles and 4 pass breakups in Saturday's win versus Quincy.
Last year, I learned that when it's your time, like when you're called, you have to be ready. Because football is a violent game, people will get hurt, unfortunately, and so the biggest thing I could take from last year was just being ready, just being prepared, always staying in the game, mentally, even though you're not on the field physically. Going into this game, Coach Wise, the cornerback coach, told me, Alan, you're going to number 8. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, I know my job. So if 8 scores, if 8 has a big play, it's on me. It's on nobody else but me. And throughout the whole year, they put me on the team's #1 receivers. So it was nothing different this week going into it. So I knew the task ahead of me, so I just played my best. just the whole like situation in general, like just reminds me of a saying that our DN Tony Moore always says. He says, "Respect your competition, but never fear them." So each week, like we watch film and we watch the receivers, and then the coaches, they might tell me on Tuesday, they might tell me like on game day, I'm going to the receiver. So it's all about just like knowing what the receiver does and just like having confidence in yourself, because if you're intimidated by him, then he's going to have the upper hand already.
Allen got the upper hand when at the start of the fourth quarter, the junior foiled the Hawks' attempt on 4th and 10.
At halftime, our coaches were like, all right, guys, on 4th down, just stay in coverage, because you never knew if they were going to fake it or they were going to actually punt it. So that's adjustment we made at halftime, which made it easier for me. And like I'll just drop him back, like in my normal zone technique, because it was 2 receivers, so they were both coming out. So and the quarterback was going like he was going to punt it, then he picked it up, and I saw it. And like the past 2 weeks, Coach Maloney had us working on like our breaks, coming out of our breaks fast, like just playing fast, playing aggressive. So we did that a lot in practice. So it kind of became second nature for me out on the field. So the quarterback put the ball up, he threw it, and I just broke on the ball by force of habit. The inner child came out of me, because like I love the game of football, and as we said earlier, you know, like cornerback, it's kind of, you know, you're on your island. So like when you mess up, everybody sees it, and like when you do good plays, maybe people see like 50% of the time. So like knowing that I made a good play, it really made me happy.
Richardson spent a lot of time being happy during his football career at Cathedral High School in Indianapolis. As a sophomore and a senior playing for the Irish, Allen's teams won a state championship in 2006 and 2008.
It was a blessing, to say the least. Like I can honestly say I love Cathedral football, because when my time at Cathedral, it was weird, because my sophomore and junior year I had one coach, then my senior year I had a different coach. So it was weird, but like my sophomore year, when I made that transition from freshman football to like varsity and JV, like our coach had a motto like love your buddy. And so that's something that like I carried over with me here at St. Francis. And another tradition we had, well, not tradition, but another saying we had was cherish the tradition. And so like Cathedral had a rich like football tradition, and that's what I loved about Cathedral. And that's one of the things that made me want to come here to St. Francis. Like they had a rich tradition. So like the fact that I went to a high school that was like had a rich tradition, that was known for winning, like kind of just translate over to college. Like that's what I expected. In high school, as you said, I went to state my junior and my sophomore and senior year. My junior year, I lost in semi-state. Then coming to college, to a program that's been a few national championships. You know, like winning is just something that's expected of us, and that's what I wanted to accomplish here at St. Francis. Love your buddy, because like what it was is like a sophomore got paired up with a senior, and that was like your buddy. So like in school, like you'll talk to him like, hey, how you doing? Like how your grades? Like if you have any questions, ask him. Like love your buddy. And like I translated that to St. Francis in a different way. Not so much as just picking out one person, but like we're a team. Like we're all Cougars. Like we might be offense, we might be defense, but like if we don't love each other, like we're not gonna win. If we're not one like cohesive unit, like things fall apart. And like that's why I feel like we haven't been as successful as we could be, because like everybody doesn't love each other. Like we've been tested in so many situations. Like we've been through so many different things this year, and if we react like we're supposed to, if we play like Cougar football, like we can't be beat, and that's been proven this year already. So like it's kind of like we're finally learning that if we play together, if we do like our assignments and not worry about other people's jobs, then we will be successful. Saul and Tony Moore are those people on defense that I know personally I look to, like because they always have that fire. So it's like I'll see Saul, like Tony, like they just have like that crazy look in their eyes, like they're about to do something crazy, and that like fire gets me going. And like without seeing Saul on the field, it's kind of emotional. Like, all right, well I know Saul was here, he would do this, so it just makes me play harder.
Being a senior now, I've kind of realized that in the years past, I know a lot of people that are underclassmen. I kind of had the same feeling sometimes that maybe there's a tomorrow. If we don't make it out of this and we get beat, maybe there's a tomorrow and we can still play for the big game. But I've realized that maybe this could be your last opportunity. Whenever there could be injuries next year, you could go 7-3, not make the playoffs. So every chance you get at making the playoffs and have a strong finish to the end of the season, you got to take those whenever you can. It doesn't matter if you're a freshman, senior, whatever time. So you got to finish strong and do something. And I think we could do something big in the playoffs.
With 2 games left on the schedule, the Cougars will again have an opportunity to improve on a turnover margin ranking that dropped 1 spot to 73 this week.
Well, I look at that game and I see some of the plays that we make in some games, and then I see some of the outcomes in the games. We could have beat that team last weekend by about 50 points if we wanted to. We just have, as an offense, we just have to execute because we got so many athletes in the field, so many playmakers that can do a lot of things. But that's just been, this year we've been making a lot of mistakes that are kind of holding us from competing with the St. X's and Marion. But I think if we get those figured out, we have to do it soon, but if we get those figured out, we could be a pretty dang good football team. It's just mental errors, I think. It's something that we just have to, we practice it all week and we do fine all week in practice, but it's just something we come out on Saturday and these same errors are happening. But I mean, it's just, we got to play fundamental football. If we do that, we can really hit our stride here near the end of the season and do something in the playoffs.
Senior Kobe Fry brings with him a wealth of football knowledge as the son of a coach. But St. Mary's, Ohio isn't exactly as he remembers it now that his dad is the coach of his rival high school, Wapakoneta.
Being able to be in Wapak, Bo and I helped my dad coach in Wapak, and it was something that took a lot of getting used to because we came from the rival school in St. Mary's, and we still live in St. Mary's right now actually, and they had about 6,000 people at their game this year, and that's a pretty big crowd there, and it's become quite a rivalry. But it's sometimes during football season, living in St. Mary's, you don't really want to show your face too much, but it was really special back in the day. I actually moved to St. Mary's when I was about 9 years old, and met a lot of people there and friendships, and I was friends with Marcus all through high school, and to see him come here, it was really nice to carry on that tradition. And but St. Mary's is definitely a place that I still hold close to, but it's being a part of the Wapak football program now, it's a little bit of a change. St. Mary's is the ultimate small town football town. Everybody's at the games on Friday nights. Everybody loves football. It's king around there, and just being able to play with my brother my sophomore year for that 1 year, it was truly something special. Getting coached by your dad, he was definitely tougher on us than anybody else, but it was just an experience that I'll never forget, playing with my brother and being coached by my dad.
There was a game in 2009 that Coach D would just as soon forget, when St. Francis took a depleted offense with them in the eventual 23-16 loss to Coach Ron Cormacher and Taylor University.
We're down to number 3 quarterback at that time. Tierney was hurt. Another was suspended. You know, it was one of those times that we were struggling. We had a couple losses earlier, and we were not firing on all cylinders, and we were banged up, and they got us down there. They were probably having their best season. They had a good year that year and knocked off some good people. So, so much of it is attitude and perception and what you believe about yourself. And they had it going at that time. And similar, you know, I'm not sure that they have the great receiver that they had with Magnuson back then. He was a good one. They had some really skilled athletes in the defensive secondary at that time where they could just man up with you and bring it. Those guys are gone too. But you know, they're going to do the best with what they have. They're going to coach them up, and they're going to give you a heck of a battle. They're always well prepared. They're a well-coached team. Defensively, they give you real problems. They're unique in what they do. You know, they're not a gap principal team. They sit there and have big guys inside and play head up and plug up holes inside, make it awfully difficult to run inside zone. They're a 4-3 scheme, but they do some other things. They'll jump around, they'll go into a 3-4 in passing situations, they'll run a bear front. They'll pack it in there in short yardage. They're well coached, do a good job. They're a team that always plays their best. They're scrappy, got a lot of respect for them. And it'll be a tough football game. First time that we're going to play on natural grass. We're going to practice on natural grass this week. That'll be a bit of an adjustment. It kind of slows the game down a bit. But they're a good football team. They're 4-4. They've given some of the best teams a pretty good run for it for at least a good while. And it seems like we're the team on their schedule that has become a big rivalry for them. And they will play their best, and it'll be a heck of a game. It'll be senior day for them, and they'll play like they're playing in the Super Bowl.
For the Cougars to play like they're in the Super Bowl, here are Coach D's keys to success.
Us playing our football and get excited about playing the game to the best of our ability. I think we're a better football team. The result remains to be seen. because they're going to play better than they are, and we're going to have to play a good, hard football game. It's about us. It's about us taking care of the football. It's about us keeping the ball in front of us in coverage on defense, playing good, solid special teams. Coleman will be back in full strength this week, so we want to be able to use him on kickoff return and move him around in the receiver position. And I know that they're probably going to get online and hear all this, so that's okay. You know, you have to alter your game plan around each week according to what you're going to see. But we're getting some players back that have been beat up. Alphagianis comes back. He's been out since Walsh. That's a big boost in the offensive line. He's a heck of a blocker.
Be sure to tune in to Catholic Redeemer Radio, WLYV, 1450 AM. Coverage begins at 12:45 p.m. Thanks for watching, and go Cougars.